Good morning, Ashfaq.
Good morning, sir.
We were
Good
discussing your
morning.
very interesting biodata.
Yes, ma'am.
That is wonderful. And you're a young lad with wonderful achievements.
Thank you,
That's
ma'am.
very good. Also, tell me, you're from Hyderabad. They say that people in Andhra Pradesh say that they got a raw deal in the partition, in the bifurcation of the state. Is that true in a sentence or two? Why would they be saying that?
Ma'am, initially it was believed that both the states will be benefited equally. But if you look at last 9 years, the rate at which Hyderabad has been growing. So that is the reason they are saying that the people of
Yeah, but the
Telangana,
problem is the design itself, the design of the basis of bifurcation. What was that?
the basis of bifurcation was, ma'am, the unbalanced regional growth that was happening in the United State of Andhra Pradesh and unequal sharing of resources between the two regions.
We'll discuss it in the feedback. All right. So now, have you traveled in India a bit out of Hyderabad? You, of course, you studied in Delhi, so you would have. Have you been to UP? Have you been to Lucknow?
No, ma'am, I have not been to
You have
Lucknow.
not been, but you read about it.
Yes, ma'am,
So
I did.
just compare Lucknow and Hyderabad. Tell me what is similar and what is dissimilar.
Ma'am, there are many similarities between the two cities. They both have a very great history, and the food cuisine is similar. Both of them have had biryanis, as one of the signature dish. Both of these cities have similar
Incidentally, if you told
language.
a Lucknowi that biryani is the signature dish, he would say, "Not rubbish. Mine is kebabs." Just by the way. Okay. Further on. What else?
Yes. Ma'am, the language is similar. Both of these cities, Urdu is spoken widely. And the architecture, ma'am, both of the cities do have Indo-Islamic architecture.
Very good. Very good. So further on in your very interesting biodata, you are very interested in Hyderabadi cuisine. Huh? You cook. You do?
Yes,
You
ma'am,
only
I
cook
do.
or you cook also?
Yes, ma'am.
You cook. You cook Hyderabadi cuisine. So that is really wonderful. So tell me, how is this shikampari different to a shami?
Ma'am, Shami kebab is totally dry one. Whereas when we compare it with shikampuri kebab, in the center of that kebab there is a liquid yogurt liquid. So when you put it in your mouth, it feels like melt in your mouth kind of taste. So
Hmm.
that is the main difference between both.
And we from
Ma'am.
Lucknow say that double ka meetha copies us. What does it copy? Or what is it similar to?
I think, ma'am, it is similar to Shahi Tukda.
Very good. And I'm not going to ask you Halim at all. Okay, that's very good. Good. You cook. So once you get in, we
Yes.
will come to taste your cooking.
Sure, ma'am, definitely.
Okay. Now tell me, when there is a project, we have a financial cost, we have a social cost, and an economic cost. Hmm? You have heard of the Char
Yes.
Dham project, which is in the news all the time for the wrong reasons. So tell me the financial
Yes.
costs, the social costs, and the economic costs of this project.
Ma'am, I'm not aware of Char Dham project actually.
Not aware of Char Dham project. Char Dham project is the road project that is linking the four dhams in Uttarakhand.
Okay, ma'am. I have not
You've
studied
heard
about it.
about it.
Yes,
You've
ma'am,
not
I do
studied
know
about it.
about the Char Dham Yatra, but I have not studied about the project.
All right. So you can substitute that with take any road project in a geologically fragile area which is causing a lot of destruction.
Yes, ma'am.
But it is linking up people. Tourists can go there to the interior.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, produce already finds its way out from the interior. So now analyze the financial, social, and economic costs of this.
Ma'am, social cost will also include the environmental cost that will be that the
So first
project.
start with the financial, one, two, three.
Financial cost is the exact finances that we need to build up the project. It's the money cost. the accounting cost. Whereas, ma'am, the economic cost also includes the opportunity cost, like what else we could have developed instead of working on this particular project. Whereas social cost will also include the environmental.
Tell me, live. Okay, we know this, but tell me live. What are the costs in this case? Financial cost X Y Z. Any plug figure. What are the social costs? What are the environmental costs? Visualize what the project is and tell us what those are.
Social cost, what for social cost, I can think about something which is related to environment, ma'am. And economic cost, uh, not able to think, ma'am.
All right. What is an externality? Can it be positive or negative? In this case, what would be an externality?
Yes, ma'am. Externality can be both positive and negative, ma'am. In this case, if we speak about this project particularly, uh, externality will be positive because by constructing this project, we will be providing facilities for the people to travel and positive consequences on others. It can also be negative, ma'am, because we are having a negative consequence on the environment. We are making the area more fragile because it is actually a remote area. So we are making it more more susceptible to the natural disasters.
All right, very good. Now, you also like blogging about women's rights.
Yes, ma'am. I
Do
do.
you like blogging about women's rights or you like to work for women's rights?
Uh,
You have written only
Ma'am,
blogging.
I just write about women rights, ma'am. But I do share their uh, I
So
do share their views.
is blogging enough? You could be
Of course,
blogging
ma'am. It's
about the
not enough.
trees. You could be blogging about the sunshine. Women's rights is like that.
Yes, ma'am. I do believe blogging is not enough, but through my blogs, I try to influence people who are in my close circle. I like to make them aware about what issues women are facing. So, but
So
through that way,
what? Tell me the debate around marital rape, and is it recognized as a crime or is it not?
ma'am, in India, marital rape is not recognized as a crime. It is accepted from crime under Section 375 of Indian Penal Code.
So have you blogged about that?
Yes, ma'am, I have written
So
blogs
what
about.
are the arguments you used in favor?
Ma'am, in favor, the arguments I would say is that marriage is a social contract and it is not a license for any of the person to indulge in sexual activity without consent. So
So
even
why
after
is it?
marriage,
So why is it not happening? It's such an obvious thing. Why is
yeah.
it not done?
Ma'am, the lack of couple equity, I think that is the reason why there is no place for consent. If there is inequity between the couple, it is inequity between the spouses. So the consent doesn't play a role there.
But in
That
India, the a good or bad part, whatever you may call it, our legislation has been very, very forward looking. In fact, it's our implementation that has not kept pace with it.
yes,
We got the vote by one stroke of the pen of our constitution. The American women had to fight for the right to vote. Britain,
yes,
America, everywhere. So don't you think that first it can be included in the as a crime, and then social consciousness will move up? So why is it not being done then? Very obvious. Why is it not being done? It's an obvious thing, no? Our laws have always been ahead of our social consciousness in many
yes,
things. It's not the
ma'am.
reverse.
Yes, ma'am. I think there are the issues with implementation, ma'am, because the investigation would be
No, no.
difficult.
When we make a law, we never think of the implementation. In fact, that's a gap between our laws and our implementation. That is
Yes.
what gives scope for corruption at the lower level or harassment at the lower level. But when the lawmakers make the laws, they think of the ideal. So why is it not being made into a law?
Ma'am, I think there is a lack of consensus, but and there is a lack of political will. But if we try to build consensus, then I'm
All
hopeful
right.
that
So
there
now I
will
will
be.
come to a related issue of reservation for women in the parliament, the
Yes,
legislature, right?
yes, ma'am.
So what is the position as of now?
As of now, it has been proposed that 33% of seats will be reserved for women
It's in
in
what?
Lok Sabha, ma'am, in legislature.
Mm-hmm. Acha. And why is it postponed to the next election? Tell me. They could
Ma'am,
have done it
because
right away.
Yes, ma'am, because there is a delimitation exercise that is impending. It is going to happen in 2026. And also, ma'am, the census has not been done. So this is the reason why they have postponed it.
Census will not be done. The census could
I'm,
always be done.
I'm hopeful it will be done, ma'am, pretty soon.
I'm hopeful, of course, we all are. But I was wanting to know what the analysis is. All right. Okay. Hmm. Do you know who's Jimmy Lai?
No, ma'am, I'm not aware.
It's in the newspapers. His trial is going on in some country ruled by China. Are you aware of that trial? It is a very significant trial. No?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
All right. It doesn't matter. Okay, we'll now come to the Ukraine war, which has been pushed into the background by the Gaza crisis.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
where do you visualize this Ukraine war will end? How do you visualize it will end? What's going to be the end of it in today's context? What you see today?
Ma'am, I think the Ukraine war is happening since a very long time. It has almost been more than 1.5 year. Uh, it has lost the limelight because of the Israel and Palestine conflict, which has
Of
spawned up
course, I'm
recently.
asking you to come to the point and tell us where do you think it'll end?
Ma'am, I think it will end when the security issues that the Russia is having are addressed, and with the dialogue, of course, that Ukraine promises that it won't be joining NATO. So I think that is a very prospective and
So that was what Russia wanted from day one, and US did not want that. So what will happen that US will agree to it now?
ma'am, because what I believe is Ukraine is on a weaker side in this war, so maybe
They
that
were
is it.
always so from the beginning, and nobody cared whether Ukraine was destroyed. They had their own agendas. They wanted Putin out. So why do you think that US will agree to it?
Ma'am, I don't think European Union would like to have war happening for such a long time in their neighborhood. So
But
that is,
they have a say in the whole matter, a good say. They are the ones who really suffered, huh? Apart from Ukraine.
yes, ma'am. They are the one who are suffering. They are
Could
also
there be
suffering
some other
because of
reason? I
Ukraine
mean, could
plus.
there be some other reason to, should this be the conclusion? Could there be some other reason for it? You talked about it a
Economic
bit.
economic cost, ma'am. The world is having economic turmoil because of the war that is happening, and even even the Europe as a whole is facing issues such as it's not able to access gas and all. So maybe economy will
They have
also be
made
the reason.
alternative arrangements, haven't they? Europe?
Sorry.
They have made alternative arrangements after the initial shock.
Yes, ma'am. They do have made, but they are for temporary, ma'am. I don't think those arrangements will long
Okay,
last.
very good. Very good. Thank you. Mr. Verma, please go ahead.
Yeah, Ashfaq, you are from Hyderabad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that division of the state, Andhra Pradesh, happened because of the disparities in development of the both regions, something like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am putting a poser to you and I would like you to react. Hyderabad was under the rule of Nizam,
Yes, sir.
and Nizam preferred education in the vernacular language. Andhra region was under the direct rule of Britishers and the medium of education was English.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, emphasis here on the medium of education being vernacular, that is Urdu. And in Andhra, the medium of education being English, that led to the disparity. Those who were taught in the English medium progressed much more than those who were taught in the vernacular language. So how you react to this, the opposer?
Sir, I think apart from disparity in education, the under the Nizam rule, the state of Hyderabad was very well developed, sir. It was having it was having colleges, sir. Even if it were in Urdu medium, there was arts college and there was also Nizam's college, sir. It was teaching in English medium, sir. Actually, in if we talk about Hyderabad and railways were being developed and infrastructure was being developed and irrigation projects were being taken through Nizam.
Okay, fine. So if things were happening nice during the Nizam rule,
Yes,
so what went wrong? Hmm? What went wrong that the Telangana region started, lagging behind Andhra region on various parameters of development?
yes. What went wrong is when in 1956, when the unification of Hyderabad state with the Andhra state happened. In that there was an agreement signed, gentleman's agreement. So there were some promises that were made for the region of Telangana that both of them will be looked upon equally, both the regions. Sir, but those promises were not
Okay.
fulfilled by the subsequent governments. So that was the reason that led to the Telangana agitation.
Which governments? State governments.
Yes, state government.
But then you see, state governments were located in Andhra Pradesh, not in Vijayawada or somewhere.
Yes, sir, they were located in the Hyderabad only, sir.
In the Hyderabad only, not
Yes.
in Andhra. So how could it happen? And Hyderabad was always, a booming city. It became a booming city under a leader from Andhra region.
Yes, Hyderabad was being developed. In fact, the IT sector in Hyderabad was being developed. But, sir, the allocation of resources and the employment opportunities that in the government, those were being directed towards the people of Andhra. So there is something called Mulki rules that were even during the Nizam. So the Mulki rules were a very sensitive topic for the people of Telangana, which promised that a certain percentage of employment will be reserved for the people of Telangana.
Yes,
But
Mulki rules were implemented during Nizam rule.
yes, sir, they were implemented.
It is pre-independence, not post-independence.
Yes, sir, pre-independence or even after post-independence for 4 to 5 years, when the state was independent. The state was separated. It was not joined with the Andhra state. Even then, the Mulki rules were being implemented, sir.
Okay, fine. चलो अब ये बताओ कि today morning I was seeing in the newspaper that Farooq Abdullah
Yes, sir.
finding a parallel with Israel and Palestine war in the Gaza Strip area has made a very out of out of a observation that Kashmir will also become something like Gaza if India and Pakistan don't talk. What's your observation on it, or what is the stake that Pakistan can have in Kashmir? Is there any stake
So Pakistan has no stake.
attainable or historically attainable? What
So
stake Pakistan has in a territory of our country?
yes, sir. So the statement made by Farooq Abdullah, I think it is totally baseless, and it is just a political gimmick. Whereas about the stake of Pakistan in Kashmir, sir, we have clearly established that Kashmir is an integral part of India. And even the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, we have reserved certain seats in the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir for that particular area also. So, sir, I don't think Pakistan has any stake and it has lost all its ground to claim any part of Kashmir.
Okay, fine. Hmm. Okay, what is this LOC and LAC? Are these one and same or these are two different things? LOC and LAC.
Yes, sir. Sir, LOC is line of control that is between Pakistan occupied Kashmir and the Indian territory of Kashmir. Whereas the
Pakistan
LAC,
occupied Kashmir and
the Kashmir that is with India, sir.
no,
That
that
is
is with India, nahi, that is part of India.
yes, sir. It is part of
When
India.
you say that is with India, indicates that it is some sort of Indian occupation,
No, sir. No, sir.
which is not the right way to say.
I didn't meant that at all, sir.
Okay, fine. And
LAC,
LAC?
LAC, whereas LAC is the line of actual control, sir. That is the boundary between the disputed territory between India and China, sir,
Okay, fine.
in the Ladakh region.
So what is the okay? You have defined what is LOC and you have also defined what is LAC.
Yes, sir.
What is the fundamental difference between the two? When did the LOC came in existence? 1971 Simla War, Simla Summit.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? After 1971 war, so
Yes, sir.
LOC was clearly defined.
Yes,
Hmm?
sir.
So if you are standing on the ground, you can clearly say that LOC passes from this point.
Yes, sir.
Can, can same thing be said about LAC?
So, the LAC is not effectively defined on the ground because there are certain, especially there are certain ecological areas such as the lakes which are not being defined clearly. So that is
What?
the
Which
reason.
area?
There are certain lakes,
Lakes,
yes,
water
sir.
bodies,
Water bodies, yes, sir.
and
And mountain ranges also, I guess. So it is when we compare it to LOC, sir, on the ground, it is not clearly defined as effectively as LOC is defined.
all right, fine. So you are blogging about women rights. So what women rights which you blog about? There's a whole sphere of rights. So which are in your focus?
So I focus on political and economic rights as in specific.
Political and economic rights.
Yes, sir.
And what about social rights?
So I do have views about the social rights, but mostly as I am from an economics background, so I write about the women in economic field.
Okay, fine. So today morning I was seeing a news. Honorable Supreme Court in one of the cases observed that this misuse of 498A, etc.,
Yes,
has become, reverse cruelty. In this case, what had happened that family court granted divorce on the petition of husband. So after the this was granted, the wife, went for some uh, got some FIR registered against her husband, labeling some non-bailable, cognizable offences.
yes,
So the
sir.
husband goes to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court says that this is also cruelty.
Yes, sir. It is, sir.
So in this backdrop, what we are observing, 498A,
Yes, sir.
which was introduced in the penal code to safeguard women from primarily from domestic violence and domestic pratarna and atyachar and all that, has rather become a tool in the hands of women who are not happy with their married life, and they are not only filing for false cases against husband, but the entire family of husband, including the ladies, the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law, all type of.
Yes, sir.
जैसे पहले देहात में होता था राइट केस हुआ तो सबको अभियुक्त बना दिया. Hmm?
Yes,
So
sir.
something like that is happening. So now that you are seized of this issue and you keep blogging, so how you react to this situation and what solution you see?
So I do think this is an issue and this is a concern because
You don't see, you don't see it as a concern.
I do see it as a concern, sir.
Okay.
There have been issues happening, and even the Supreme Court has pointed out that women are misusing the laws for their benefit. So, but what I think is there are exceptions, sir. But as a whole, these laws are benefiting a lot for women. But for a proper solution, it is important that we make the legal provisions which are with respect to women gender neutral, sir. That is the first thing we can do. If they are
What
gender,
gender neutral? How you can make them gender neutral? These provisions are to safeguard women
yes, sir.
who have been the victim of too much of patriarchal society.
Yes, sir. So gender neutral, I meant that if there should not be any undue advantage with legal provisions to the women. We might also go with penalizing women who are filing false cases regarding to domestic violence. That is what we can do, sir.
What can we do to the women who report false cases?
We may penalize them, sir, or we may bring a provision that criminalizes that false cases. If you are putting false cases, there will be strict punishment for that.
There is a provision under law, but that law is not applicable for women. 182 to 11, that is avoided.
Yes, ma'am. So that is what I'm saying. That
That is
that
avoided in
like
case of SC/ST, that is avoided in case of women.
yes, sir. Because that provides them an undue advantage, sir, and it encourages filing false cases. But once if that provision is applied to women, then that will act as a deterrence.
Okay. Okay, Ashfaq,
Okay.
you tried your level best. Fine.
So
Please
now, should we
take
go
over.
on?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Ashfaq, right? Ashfaq,
Yes,
very quickly define developmental economics. You must have started it.
yes, sir. I have.
Yeah. So define it.
So development economics is a field of economics that is used to identify the issues that can be taken for the that can be used for economics growth and its
Mhm.
development.
Okay. So,
It basically
so last person who won the Nobel Prize for economics from India?
uh, I guess I'm not able to recall the name, but
Very recently.
it's Abhijit. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo. There's a very
yes, sir.
famous book they have. Have you heard about that?
It is a book related to behavioral economics, but I'm not able to recall the name.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you can consider it to be a part of behavioral economics as well.
Yes.
These days, there is a new term which we heard as anarcho-capitalism. Have you
Nah,
heard about this?
no, sir.
Anarcho-capitalism. There's a new leader in Argentina. Have you heard about him? The
No,
Argentina
sir.
election happened, and okay, right. Then you play chess, right?
Yes, sir. I used to play chess 4 to 5 years back, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Right. There have been a lot of cases of cheating in chess, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially in online tournaments. Right.
Yes,
What
sir.
is your
Yeah.
take on it? There was a Hans Niemann controversy last year, right? Magnus Carlsen, everyone, even Vladimir Kramnik talked about this year. Uh, what is your take? Do you think cheating is possible, or right? What can be done to catch this?
Yes, cheating is possible in chess, sir, especially because most of the players are doing it online.
Mm-hmm.
One possible way of cheating is that deliberately playing with the weaker players or deliberately uh, uh, arranging matches in a way that they are winning, and the ultimate aim is to increase their overall ratings, sir. And
Mm-hmm.
there are also chess machines,
Mm-hmm.
which are being manipulated to benefit the players.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution can be uh, but we have to observe the patterns that these players are having. If the ratings are increasing suddenly, or if there is a sudden leap, then we can apply a deterrence on that, and we can detect, sir, if cheating is happening or not.
Okay, right. Shikhar.
Yeah, hi, Ashfaq.
Yes, sir.
Is war good economics?
Yes, sir. I would not call it good economics, because something which has a very social cost can never be a good economics cost.
Okay. Is division of labor a social idea phenomena or an economic phenomena? Division of labor.
So, a division of labor has both social and economic aspects in it. So, economically, it is beneficial. It increases the efficiency, sir. Socially, also, sir, it helps the labor force to excel in which aspect they are uh, doing better.
So it's do you agree that caste system in a way is division of labor socially,
So,
or maybe dividing work according to genders? Is it a good idea?
no, sir, I don't believe that it is a good idea.
Okay. One like quick take on if there's a slowdown in China, is that good for India?
So, a slowdown in China will have global impacts. A global economy will be facing a slowdown because China is an export hub, sir. So it
Would it
affects.
be good for India or not?
So prima facie, it won't be good for India.
Won't be good for India. Okay. Uh, one thing which is grossly wrong with Indian economy, according to you.
So we have so many pending reforms. Without those reforms, we are moving ahead, like labor reforms
One
and agriculture reforms.
labor reform.
Yes,
And
sir.
one thing which is India's strength, the most important strength.
Most important strength is its demographic dividends, sir. The young population.
Okay, one last question. What is a pure public good?
So pure public good is that which cannot be excluded from some people from being consumed, and also so that is not rival.
Any example?
Sir, defense is a pure public good.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Ashfaq, first of all, share with us what you felt about this interaction.
Ma'am, I felt that I could have done a lot better in certain areas, and the questions were very good, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much for giving us the seal of approval. But I was looking at a more specialized and disaggregated answer. Okay, Ashfaq, as far as my comments are concerned, and I think my fellow panelists share it, looking at your biodata, expectations soar. So the difficulty level for you is going to be very high. Okay.
Yes.
Plus, I think you started appearing for the civil services young. So it's your fourth attempt, right?
Yes,
Despite being so young. So that also will raise the level of questions. Your interview is on 12th January, so you have time to prepare. Now, you understand Urdu?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. तो जितनी शिद्दत से आपने अपनी हॉबीज पे प्रिपेयर किया है उतनी ही शिद्दत से यदि आप करंट अफेयर्स और इन सब चीज पे प्रिपेयर करें यू आर थ्रू राइट दैट इज nutshell what I want to say to you. Now, to be more specific, since you are such a promising candidate, I'll spend a bit of time explaining to you. First of all, you have to brush up your current affairs.
Yes, ma'am.
You definitely have to brush up, for which you must read the newspapers, make notes, prepare topics for against data points. You must know.
Yes.
Things that you should be knowing, you cannot say no to. Secondly, opinion issues. You know, you're sometimes asked a question in a hostile manner or in a certain slant to test how firm you are in your convictions, how you can defend your stand. It doesn't necessarily mean that what the panelist is saying is he really means it. Or even if he does mean it, it doesn't mean you do a volte-face and you don't take your stand. It doesn't mean you should argue with the person. So first of all, when you give an opinion, it should always be taking into account both aspects of it, right? The pros and the cons. And then it should say that for this reason, I hold this opinion. Now, I found that on countless occasions. What comes the most to my mind is, which galled me, was the 498A discussion. It
Yes.
really, if there is a clause that is put to defend somebody who's weak, and yes, there are cases of misuse, there's no doubt about it. Not only this one, the SC/ST one also. The
Yes,
Supreme
ma'am.
Court has observed on that also. It doesn't mean we turn around and you talk about penalty for the person who does. It means that you have to have better implementation. It means that you have to look at that in that manner. So, I mean, Mahila police station when you go, they'll say, "Arey, ऐसी तो 100 महिलाएं आई हैं, आप क्यों आ रहे?" So that
Yes.
sensitization has to be there, that implementation. We are very good on laws. It's our implementation that is a problem. That is a case in point, which incensed me a lot, so I wanted to say it. But that was repeated often again in the course of the discussion, your opinion part of it. And that is a really important part because that is the window to your personality.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
So you should not be afraid to hold your own. But when you give an opinion, it should be looking at both the sides of a picture and keeping an escape route in the beginning itself. That yes, there are two sides of the picture and this. And if the person is arguing on a point, the panelist, you don't get into the argument. You say, yes, sir, this is my opinion. But I'm sure with your experience, you would know much more. Finish the argument there. You held your own. You have not got into an argument. You have not got trapped. That is very
Yes.
important. Remember that. All right. Now, also you have to have a certain specificity in your speech, in your replies. A specificity in the language you use, or in how briefly you can sum up a certain question. For example, I asked you about Andhra Pradesh and Hyderabad and Telangana.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
me, as I understand, the basis of the bifurcation was assets were as is, liabilities were on the basis of population. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is very skewed because Andhra got the liabilities and Telangana got the assets. So just one, Hyderabad developed this, developed that. Oh, that's not an argument at that point of time. Hyderabad, of course, has no parallel. They could have been compensated for that in some other manner. I mean, this is just my view. But you should prepare for it because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
from there. Then Hyderabad, Lucknow, I think it is pretty all right. It was a light question, and your cuisine also you had prepared very well. You had prepared very well for that. That's why शिद्दत से आप और भी चीज prepare करो. Now, social costs. Okay, Char Dham project, maybe you should know. Whichever religion you subscribe to, it is all over the news because the roads are the mountain is being dynamited to expand the roads. And it's a geofragile zone. And there's a lot of environmental outcry against that. So, so then we got into, I use that as an example, but it was an example of any other place, any road project in a geofragile zone. So there, what was expected was that you will, ab bach rahe the. You were getting theoretical. Okay, social cost, you had that more or less okay. But applying it to the example, you have to do that. So
Yes.
their presence of mind and a practical application of what you know, that is important. I felt that Jimmy Lai, okay, it's in the newspapers. He's a Hong Kong dissident journalist who's being tried. And it's the eyes of the world are on that this is what China means in future. This is what Hong Kong's future is. So you must read about that. Ukraine. You said where end? You said, okay, you gave an opinion. That is a frank, a fair opinion. But then I asked you why. And then you did not know it. You had talked about Gaza earlier. But if you are talking about that, if you are thinking that is going to be the end, then one of the reasons would be preoccupation of US elsewhere and, putting their money there and wanting to defend Israel, etc. So basically, you have to have arguments to lead to your conclusion. Think a moment, pause a moment before replying in an opinion question, right? Don't tumble into it. Even a factual question, think a moment, structure your reply. On certain questions, they were extracting from you. One question, then another, then third. So don't be so reluctant. If you know 3 points, say, sir, I'll answer in 3 points. Ma'am, I'll answer in 3 points and give the most important point first, right? Then, I actually think that you need to do a little bit of practice of speaking.
Okay.
Because I think your articulation also comes in the way of your expression. Sometimes you have it there and don't articulate it adequately. I don't think it's a question of language. Your language is perfect. It's probably a question of speech. So if that is so, it doesn't harm you to, when you prepare your points, say about 50 topics or so you must prepare. You have the time just now, prepare 8 a day. See the newspapers. From the newspapers, pick up. Intersecting with your interests, intersecting with your state, intersecting with your background, your DAF, your economic, and what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the polity, etc. So prepare your topics, prepare the pros, cons, and maybe spend 10 minutes a day just speaking out one point and video recording it and hearing yourself.
Yes.
There's no harm. Just spend 10 minutes a day on that. Map your day out, map your time out, make a timetable. You're a very, very promising candidate. So, which is why the level of difficulty kept getting raised and raised and raised. And we kind of got you into opinions and arguments and things because you're such a good candidate, because your biodata is so impressive and the chances of you getting through are very high. But that last mile effort you need to put in. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Vermaji, please.
Well, Ashfaq, a few things. When you answer a question which can have a range of opinions on one end to other end, so don't convey as if you are opinionated. That you have decided a line and you are very steadfast on it.
Yes, sir.
You should be open to other ideas, other possibilities. Hmm?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Like, why did Mao attack India in 1962? So many decades have passed by, but still it is a debatable point. There
Yes.
can still be a debate. So, like, and then don't say things in a random manner, which are not immediately connected with the question.
Okay, sir.
Like, I found it difficult to connect these mulki rules with the current problem, which led to the division of the state.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Likewise, there was a question, if there is a slowdown in China, will it help India? So perhaps you answered that it will be good for India.
No, sir. I answer it won't be good for India.
It won't be good for India. That was your answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's good, fine. And you need to practice speaking.
Sure, sir. I will.
How you do it?
Like ma'am just told me that I should take topics and I should speak on them.
Speak on him. Where and how?
Sir, I'll form a few points that I'm going to tell. I'll organize it in priority basis. Which point should I be mentioning first? And in that way, I will be practicing.
Okay. You can practice it in your own room itself. Stand before mirror, speak.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Or you record. You speak. Say there is a question. Hmm? LOC, LAC, or Pakistan, or something, and you speak for 1 or 2 minutes, record it on your smartphone and replay it. Listen to it, what you spoke.
Okay, sir.
So that way you will see the areas, you will discover kahan pe kya kami reh gayi and how you can improve upon that.
Okay, sir.
This is one area where you need to work, need to improve your communication skills. And I will again tell you, don't convey a impression that you are a person who is opinionated. It's
Sure, sir.
not good. It doesn't help you. Okay, Shekharji.
Varun,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, Ashfaq, so first of all, you have wonderful biodata, right? So, if I was even starting to judge you in the interview room, I would give you 180 and then say that, okay, if he does better, I'll give you more. Okay, right? So, up kya? So, isme you the cuisine part you really did well, right? And I think right now you might not have touched the current affairs that much, and that was that was a
Yes.
main issue. But that's okay. What basically you just have to do is to utilize the next, you have like how many days now?
15 days.
15 days. Yeah. So, to be honest, most of the time when we also used to prepare, we used to say that current affairs, the last 15 days would be the ones we should look. So that's fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So no problem there. We can only one thing, right? Right. Just say, development economics, Keynesian economics. Okay. So the definitions, एक बार rehearse कर लेना. Okay.
Sure.
Exactly. This is a definition, right? And just be open to discussion about things. Okay, right? Okay, it's not. See, you have studied all these things. It's very easy for you to talk about them. I'll be very honest, right? You might be
Yes.
tired because obviously the interview is going longer, but don't let be energetic. Hey, you have got here after how many years?
Fourth attempts.
Yeah, so you should be very happy about it now.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
take it as a positive that you have reached here and now you have to do, I'm pretty sure you'll do it. Okay, so don't think, right, that you'll get the feedback or everything. Okay, think in terms of the fact that, these are the things I have to improve and I'll do it. What's the big deal, right? It's not too hard for me. I'm very intelligent. I have a great profile, right? I've been a great student all my life and I'm the person they're supposed to select. Okay, provided I perform. Okay, so we should perform. right?
Okay, sir.
अशफाक सबने बिल्कुल सही बता दिया है। और अब इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है, लास्ट 14 डेज मैक्स एफर्ट एंड स्टार्ट स्पेंडिंग 10 12 14 आवर्स मे बी रीडिंग करंट अफेयर्स, प्रैक्टिसिंग स्पीकिंग, है ना। अभी वो लास्ट पुश की बारी है, थोड़ा जो मेंस के बाद जो बॉडी स्लो हो जाती है, दिमाग स्लो हो जाता है, उसको वापस तेज करना है अब। तो ऑलमोस्ट देयर वाली बात है, स्लाइट नज एंड स्लाइट पुश एंड यू विल बी थ्रू।
अशफाक होगा, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट,
खुद को पुश
होगा ही
करते
होगा। तुम जस्ट यूटिलाइज these last 15 days and I'm pretty sure you'll do it.
हैं। अभी क्रेजी एफर्ट का टाइम वापस आ चुका है।
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
ओके।
Ashfaq,
Yes,
anything
ma'am.
you would like to ask any of us? Anything you'd like to say? Anything you want to know? We're there to help.
Ma'am, about the women issues only. I was not sure the opinion I had. Example, what 498 and also marital rape.
You know, whatever opinion you have, defend it well. Come to an opinion. So what I suggest is make a list. You must have blogged. So make a
Yes.
list. Whatever you blog, rehearse that. But a blog may be just an opinion you're putting here. It's not going to end with that. People are going to ask and pursue you on that, because for sure you will get a question on that. For sure. You will get
Yes.
on your cuisine. You will come out on tops in that. You will for sure get a question on this women's issues. So
Yes.
make a list. What you have done also, prepare the pros and cons. Prepare it well. Spend a whole day preparing just women's issues. And apart from that, you also prepare other likely ones, controversial ones, or things that are in the news these days. Marital rape was discussed. Should it be law? Should it not be law? Then rape laws amendment themselves. I mean, for that matter, there was talk of death penalty. Oh, death penalty, तो फिर क्या होगा? फिर तो सब murder ही कर देंगे lady लड़की को. Things like that.
Yes.
So prepare the pros and cons, and after that, come to the opinion you have to come to has to be women friendly ultimately. You cannot be a women's rights blogger and have a women unfriendly opinion to tell to the board. That, let me tell you for sure, that will be the death knell for you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So understand. But then, yes, there are gray areas in everything, and it is good to prepare beforehand on that. List out whatever you can think of as women's issues that are in the newspapers. A lot of them are discussed for the last 2-3 years, but there would be others that can come to mind also. So do that. You could also, somebody could just be asking you about women's issues. They can say, okay, what about LGBTQ? So
Yes, ma'am.
formulate an opinion on that. I cannot tell you, my opinion may be different to your opinion on that one. But by and large, you should have a women-friendly opinion, right?
Okay.
So prepare that. This will be a winner for you, by the way. This will be a winner for you. This will certainly be a big winner for you and will go a long way. I also want to tell you one thing at the end. We have been very tough on you in the interview and in the feedback. That is because you are such a promising candidate. Otherwise, we don't spend so much time and so much effort. If we feel nothing can be done, we say, oh, very good, very good. That's it. So don't get disheartened. It's a call to work hard for this period. And the day before your interview, just relax. The morning of your interview, please make sure you read the paper properly.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
understand the offshoots. All right. All the
Yes.
very best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.